I should have done a squeamish warning for this, just me talking about it, shouldn't I? The plant pots are back again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop. It's fantastic to have you here. It does feel like a long time since I've made any videos. I did say that this school year was going to be busy. Both of us are back at school tomorrow. Big years for both of us, lots of hard work and lots of big exams next year. So might not get round to being in here that much. Obviously priorities in that school has to come first. And that certainly seems to be proving true. For the last month getting on now, I haven't been able to film anything. And I haven't had any footage as a backlog to be able to just upload. So this feels a little bit weird, but I'm sure I'll get straight back into it, get back in that groove. And I've got something really fun to share with you today. So without further ado, I'll invite you to like and subscribe if you're new. Let's jump in. Okay, let's talk about safety. Now, as much fun as I have in the workshop, using the angle grinder, the table saw, the chop saw, all the new tools, which are really, really awesome. Safety is obviously really important. I've only got 10 of these. I play the piano, and if I lose one of them, that's kind of me done for that. Not to mention, of course, you know, more serious injuries. I'd rather not die by having an angle grinder disc shatter, go into a big artery and me bleed to death, because I'm not always with somebody. You know, Matt's sometimes not here like he is today. Grandma is in the house if I couldn't get to her, and the phone is generally running as a camera, so if I'm on the floor bleeding to death and I can't get up there to get to the phone in the clamp, then that could be me. So safety is obviously really, really, really important. On that basis, first up is hearing protection. Fun fact, if you look at any modern bin, household bin, garden bin, that kind of thing, it's generally got numbers on it that tell you how many decibels the bin makes when it's being rolled across a hard surface like concrete. That's because that's actually loud enough that you should really be wearing hearing protection for that, which is quite surprising and sort of puts into context just how sensitive our ears are and how important it is to protect them. So that's why in the workshop you'll always see me wearing these. They're just like earmuffs, you put them on over your ears and everything is now quiet. I find that when I've got that deafening noise going on, I don't feel very confident using the tool. I also almost need to block it out so that I can concentrate on using the tool and use it safely. So an easy solution is to just have these and put them on. These ones are actually military ones. My dad used to be in the military, and so these are Peltor, and that's why they're green. I don't know what rating they are, but they're very good. So that's where mine come from. So I haven't bought these are just what I've had for a long time. Another thing I should mention as well is eye protection. I'm a glasses wearer, so I've said before in previous videos that I wear my old pair of glasses when I'm doing work in dusty environments. Because of my glasses, I'm unable to wear safety goggles, or if I do, it's not very comfortable. So I tend to just go without, which I know isn't great, but it is a bit of glass over my eyes, so bits that go that way should hopefully be stopped by those. And to prevent scratching up my current pair of nice glasses, I wear my old pair. They're just in a case over there when I'm in the workshop. The only thing with that is that it can make it quite difficult to read the tape measure with my old glasses because they're a different prescription and they're really scratched and dirty now, so my vision is almost impaired by them. But it's always a challenge for a glasses wearer. When I was at school and they always told me to go get some safety goggles on because we're doing a practical experiment, I would always have to struggle to shove them on over my glasses. When we do air rifle shooting at scouts, the instructor generally says to me that my glasses will be fine. So it's a sort of a grey area for glasses wearers when they're doing things like this. My preference is to just stick my old glasses on, and yeah. So moving on now to things that I don't have to protect myself. Or didn't have, I should say, because I jumped on the old internet the other day, made myself an order, and everything's arrived. So that's why I'm doing it all in one video, because quite a lot of things need mounting on the wall for storage. First up is a tourniquet.
Tourniquet.
This would be for a very, very serious cuts, catastrophic bleeding kind of thing. Most likely thing I can think of with that would be if I was using an angle grinder with a cutting disc. That cutting disc is old, so it shatters, and I have shards of that abrasive material flying in all directions at 13,000, whatever the angle grinder spins at, ripums, and goes into my leg or into my neck or anywhere on me, and I end up losing a lot of blood very quickly. This is actually a single-use one. The strap comes undone. It's usable one-handed. You put it on, say my arm was bleeding very badly, you put it on above the cut, crank it down as tight as you can with the Velcro. Then there's this windlass thing, which I would twist and it would pull the whole thing really tight. I need to do that until I can't get it any tighter, and then lock it into this black plastic. Pop that white Velcro on over the top, and then it says time there. So then I would scribble down the time that I put this on. That way I don't have to remember when hopefully the paramedics get here. I could say that this went on, it's been on for however long, they would need to know that. Also, if I passed out because of blood loss or shock or whatever, when the paramedics found me or whoever found me, they would know when I put this on because I've written on the time. So I really do hope I never have to use this one. I'm not overly squeamish, but I really don't like, seeing huge amounts of blood. It's not particularly pleasant, is it? Especially on myself. So I really hope I don't have a major accident. That's why I try and go really careful in the workshop. But I felt I kind of need to have it. And a big thing with a lot of these things that I've bought as well is it's not so much me feeling that I want it to keep myself safe for my own peace of mind, although that is a part of it. Another big part of my motivation to get these things was the fact that I put what I do on the internet. You guys watching this, I should really be setting a good example of how you should be safe in the workshop and having all of the necessary precautions in place. So, Tourniquet, I can't remember. Very important, hopefully never have to use it. Keep it in here, job done. Next, focusing on my mouth and nose and my old lungs, is a respirator. Now, this is for when I'm doing lots of angle grinding, lots of spray painting and things like drilling a wall, lots of dust, insulation, that kind of thing. Really important to protect your lungs so we don't get all of those respiratory problems. So this is a half mask respirator from 3M. It's actually their 6500 series, which means that it's got a quick latch system, which is really cool because it means that when I've put the whole thing on and got the straps adjusted, every time I want to take it off, I don't have to take all of it off at once and then put it all back on again. It's got a quick latch so I can loosen the straps very quickly, drop it down from my face so I can talk, say if I've left the contaminated area and I'm doing something else for a minute, or if I'm talking to the camera or talking to somebody else that's there. I can do that and then just pop it back up and then tighten the straps back up again very quickly. So I liked that feature about it. These things on the side makes it look all like the nuclear war are the cartridges. Now which way do I twist this? Not that way, that way. I should preface, there are two main hazards for your lungs. First is particulates, which is basically just dust, bits of solids that float in the air. The second is vapors and fumes, things like paint, the smelly stuff, which is really, really fine liquids in the air. I'll put a picture up on screen of a particulate filter only, which I could have got, and I think now this has arrived, I've decided I want some of those as well. So I've got some of those on order too, but they're not here yet, which are just for particulates. So if I was to just be doing angle grinding a lot, those would be what I'd get, they'd be fine. If I want to go into having protection from the vapors for spray painting, which I do, I need to have these things, which is a cartridge. And this one is brown because I believe this one is for organic vapors, which is what spray painting is. The internet research for which cartridge I needed was very confusing, but I'm quite confident I've got the right one. But please do correct me if you're an expert and I'm not right, because I obviously need the right one for what I'm doing. So I've got the cartridge for the vapors, and then this white thing on top is actually a separate particulate filter that fits over the top. So the white filter does all the angle grinding dust and particulates. The grey cartridge with the olive sides is for the vapors from spray paint, and this clear plastic thing is just to hold the filter onto the cartridge. Then it's got a very simple bayonet fitting system. Line them up, 1/4 turn, and then if I take specs off, you should be able to see how it goes on my head. There's this band thing, goes on the top, release the quick latch thing so it comes down. Hopefully you can hear me when I've got it on. There's another two straps here which go around behind my neck. And it does take a bit of getting used to, and it looks quite funny as well. Then fit the mask onto my face. Then this latch comes down and tightens everything up. So just adjust it, get it comfortable. There's these toggles here so I can pull it tight and around the back as well. I hope you can hear me. I feel like I'm shouting now. My inhale obviously goes through the filters and exhale comes through out of this little hole there. I can put my glasses on back over, just about. And yeah, it does feel a bit strange. I'm sure it looks quite funny on camera. You need to not have any facial hair, so I guess you'll get to see me clean shaven all the time now. I've already used it today. You can see there how the quick latch allows it to drop down. I hope you could hear all of that, I'll find out in a minute. But I'm very happy to have got this. In a video not long ago, I did a lot of angle grinding. I said to you lot, I felt really quite bad after it because I got in the shower at the end of that day and I was blowing my nose and all this black metal nasty dust was coming out. It's not very nice at all. So great. I feel like this is really important. I'm really glad to have this one, and I will get some different particular only filters so that I can have those for just when I'm angle grinding, and when I'm doing spray painting I can slap these on because they are quite heavy, whereas the little discs that you saw in the picture are that much lighter and smaller. So yeah, that's really cool, I like that. Probably best do the fire extinguisher next because I keep knocking it over. Now, probably being a man and what my experience having done things like scouts, I feel like fire is probably the least of my worries because, you know, fire, I'll just bat it out if I catch something on fire. Also, realistically, I can't see a lot in the shed that I'm going to be doing that could be a fire hazard apart from maybe the electricals, and I have got a pile of very dry wood there, but I can't see that getting lit by just angle grinding sparks or whatever else I'm going to be doing in here. It's not like I use propane or anything, so this is mostly for the putting it out to you guys that if you're going to be doing something in a workshop and there is a fire hazard, you should have a fire extinguisher. And I suppose if there was that serious of a fire in here, I wouldn't want to just bat it out with my hands, or water isn't easily accessible. This is going to be the best option. Anybody that doesn't know, there's different categories of fire, category A, B, C, D, E. A is solid fuels like wood, one of the E is electrical, there's one for fuel, one for all these different things. So I wanted to get the fire extinguisher that could put out the most types of fire, which I believe is powder. So this is powder, and that immediately for me is a deterrent to use it, because as you can probably imagine, if I were to set this off in here, moments later this would be a winter wonderland, and I would have months and months of cleanup and a lot of annoyance. So again, hopefully I never have to use this, apart from anything else, because it would make a terrible mess. And last but not least is this first aid kit. Now, again, like I said, with my scouting experience, I've done first aid training for a long time. Being a leader now, I'm even more qualified than I've ever been before. As part of my training, I've had to do first aid courses, and I do feel quite competent at it, unless it was a very serious wound which I've never had to deal with before. Especially if it was on myself, I'd probably have that shock factor to consider. But minor things, I tend to think of myself as probably quite arrogantly or boar-headedly. I've cut my finger, well, I'll just deal with it, get another scar, who cares? But again, for the purposes of being a role model on the internet, and in case I had a more serious injury, a first aid kit is always a good idea. This one wasn't expensive, just off the internet. It's got a hook inside it so you can mount it on the wall as well. First aid kit in it, it's got bandages, plasters. Don't think this one's got trauma shears in it, but various bandages, slings, gloves, wipes, some eye wash, that kind of thing, just as an extra precaution. One thing I've not mentioned for any of this is storage. The thing to remember with the shed is that it's not insulated, well, the front wall is, but the roof is not. The temperature fluctuates in here a lot. In the winter it gets freezing, in summer it gets really hot. And that change can be very quick. So things like the rubber on the respirator and the soft material on the ear defenders will perish, it will crack and become brittle. So these I keep at home anyway, and now I've got this, I intend to keep it at home, and I will take it up here like I do now every time I need to use it. That will be those. This I'm happy to just have in the cupboard here, although really it probably should be on my person, but I'll try and remember when I come in the shed. Stick it in your pocket, because in that way, if I'm outside and I cut myself really badly and I need it, I don't have to get inside to get it, it's on me. These two, however, I'm happy to have out here, and they have wall mounting facilities, so that's what we're going to get on with now.